There is a legend that the world will always appear a hero with great power. Not caring about his life, he risked his life to destroy the Demon King to protect the world. But when the 666th Demon King appeared, he possessed power surpassing even the gods. Is the strongest Demon King in history. He parried the hero's attacks with one hand, shattering the prophecy of the hero's invincibility. Even when gods appeared, he showed little fear. Alright, let's not waste time, let's begin. Stories usually start like this. Once upon a time, on a peaceful day, under a clear blue sky, a purple spatial portal suddenly appeared. The Demon King arrived with his army, each with terrifying faces and hungry eyes. Footsteps appeared on the ground, and then an unknown hero appeared holding a sword, radiating a bright aura, walking on the rock. It was as if he'd been waiting there for a long time. His gaze was sharp, like a mother catching her child playing on their phone. His agile feet moved swiftly across the ground. In the final battle, the colossal Demon King, radiating purple energy, clashed with the small hero, shining with golden light. Their collision left only a streak of light between them. The heroes sacrificed themselves to defeat the Demon King and save the world. The Demon King was utterly defeated and fell into a deep slumber, awaiting a day to return. Those cliché stories you've heard 1,000 times. The world is at peace, and the hero becomes a legend, so boring it makes you yawn. I don't know who wrote these stories, but these kinds of narratives repeat endlessly. And after a long time, in the present, before us is a portal. It's opened by a slender hand, red light spilling out from the room. The opener has curly hair blowing in the wind. Your Majesty, something terrible has happened. That person knelt down in front of an entity several times larger than itself, wearing armor surrounded by a bright red aura. What happened? He hesitantly asked that person. Demiurgos. The curly-haired man knelt on the ground at this moment as if he had been assigned to work and said and did it in one breath. Demiurgos, the 666th demon, had just awakened and left the demon world. Then they shout, spittle flying, how gross. He says he doesn't want to be the Demon King anymore. The entity is taken aback and asks, what in the world are you talking about? It was scared and hesitant. I thought he was a big, angry entity and said quickly, that guy is holding a piece of paper. He's tired of being the Devil King. Don't come looking for me. You idiots. Gave him a drawing with his tongue sticking out and the signature number 666 with curly hair and said like he wanted to cry. That day he ran away. Even if he was a devil, he would cry. What the hell? The scene shifts to another location, where light footsteps are heard. The person walks along, humming a tune. Standing before a magnificent white palace, the person exclaims, this is a coma palace of the Verde Kingdom. Closing their eyes, feeling the breeze on their face, indeed, this is the human world I've longed for. He jumped up and twirled like a basket, laughing like he was crazy and screaming, it was so cozy. Suddenly, he sees something, his red eyes sharpening. He mutters a curse, except for this cursed crucifix. While enjoying the human world, someone's voice from far away interrupted this moment of yours. You country boy, where do you think you're going? Two soldiers with gas tanks appeared. One of them raised his weapon and said in a tone of voice, what kind of place do you think this is, where you can freely walk around like that? I was bewildered, wondering what those country people were saying about me. He looks at his clothes. I wonder if it's because of my clothes. His face is handsome enough. The two soldiers continue to question him. How dare you wander around the palace like this? Do you want to die? Seeing he doesn't answer, he points his weapon at him. What are you looking at? I'm talking to you. State your name. He points at himself and asks back, me. He knew he couldn't let him know that he was the 666th Demiurgos. When he thinks of something, he snaps his fingers. That's right, just leave out a few characters. With a friendly smile, hands in his pockets, he says, greetings, humans. Introducing himself confidently, I fear no one, I am Deus. Just after introducing myself, someone stepped forward and stomped on the ground. How dare you take the name of an ancient god as your name? Do you know that this place is the capital of the Kingdom of Verde? The crowd saw the person coming and immediately respected Count Bruno. He didn't care. Just tell me if you don't know, then I'll ignore it, but now get the hell out of here. Deus still smiles and asks, is the Verde Kingdom strong? Count Bruno is annoyed and growls, "What?" Deus's eyes still smile, unconcerned by Bruno's annoyance. "Is it strong enough for me to become king?" This angers Bruno. He draws his sword, preparing to attack, shouting, "How dare you mock the royal family, you will pay with your life." Drawing a sword for a fight, "I don't mind." Deus's eyes have changed. After just one look, to the surprise of the Bruo soldiers, it exploded. A soldier hesitated before this, "Sir Bruo." Before he can understand, his face contorts. He smiles serenely amidst the flying blood and exploding heads. The scene was chaotic. People were shouting, some were asking each other what was going on. They suddenly exploded and he was still whistling. While singing, his hand drew a purple line in midair. The remaining soldiers exploded, too, before they could even deny it. On the palace, long-range soldiers saw this and hurriedly aimed their bows and arrows at him. Arrows flying towards Deus transformed into purple petals. He calmly received the arrows. As he looked up, the two archers also exploded and returned to the earth. As he spoke, the soldiers who had just been blown up stood on their heads, blood pouring from their heads, and proclaimed, "Hail the new king." Their blood stained the path to the gate. Deus continued, singing like a prayer, "Each step I take is paved with your blood, bless this body with your tears." Inside the palace, soldiers marched noisily, preparing for battle. "What? The war has already begun, everyone outside is dead." They were tense, gripping their weapons, sweating profusely. They defended the palace gate, but when Deus approached, the walls crumbled. He looked extremely dangerous now, using screams instead of trumpets. The soldiers were terrified by his immense power. With a burst of purple energy, Deus sent them all back to the earth. Screams filled the air. The scene was chaotic. Some cried for help, others were terrified, some screamed in agony, "Kill me." The soldiers were surrounded by purple energy. Deus smiled cheerfully, as if the scene before him was incredibly beautiful. His smile, like a shy child's, was terrifying. While having fun, the string broke when I heard a sound like the sound of reading the Bible. "Almighty, Creator, virtuous, God, our Father, Holy God." Amidst the chaos, a figure, radiating light like a main character, recited the name of the Glorious One, under the name of the Almighty, the beginning and the end. He wore armor, kneeling on one knee, his hand on his sword, holding firm in the darkness, guiding us with the light of truth, blessing us with victory, repelling death, and letting truth overcome deceit. As he drew his sword, he recited, "Please defeat the devil before me and grant me the strength to defeat it." The sword shone brightly, like 24-karat gold. Deus looked without fear, assessing, "That light is an aura. You're the blood soldier from the legends." The 24-karat gold man calmly replied, "I don't know who you are, but your use of dark magic is unbelievable. You managed to break into a coma palace. Prepare yourself." He jumped, brimming with confidence. "You cannot defeat me, one blessed by the gods. I may not have pure blood, but I can still defeat you." The moment he landed, rocks flew everywhere. His eyes showed relief. Until he heard a familiar voice, "What's this? I thought it would be." He effortlessly blocked the sword with one hand, gathering purple energy with the other. "Now it's my turn, right?" He mimicked the 24-karat gold man, "Our Father in heaven, Holy Spirit." "Please let this fool die," the young man said, bewildered. Deus laughed dangerously. "I know prayers, too. Let's see whose wishes the gods grant." Before he could react, the young man's heart was ripped out, held in Deus' hand, still beating. "Never mention those gods in front of me again." He stared at Deus in disbelief. Impossible. Deus crushed the heart, and yet, there it is. Passing through the defenses, he encountered another group of soldiers, shields in hand. He asked, "Have you been waiting long?" The soldiers panicked. He got in. "Why is it only him? We're the last line of defense. We'll defend with our lives." The old king, sitting above, boomed, "Who are you?" Deus walked through the hall as if it were empty. "You seem to be the king. Let's have a little chat." One of them raised a weapon. "How dare you be disrespectful to the king?" Another familiar snap of the fingers. The soldiers exploded again. Screams pierced the sky. Deus smiled again. Anyone else want to make a statement? The remaining soldiers still protected the king, cursing vehemently. Seeing someone still wanted a beating, Deus jumped up, praising them. He revealed red demonic wings, flying like a bird over the soldiers towards the throne. He landed beside the king. Hee, let's chat. The king was terrified. What do you want? Money, fame, I'll give you everything. He smiled again. No. With full confidence, he declared, I want this kingdom. The king, still seemingly unafraid, roared, Impossible. I don't care, he said indifferently, fiddling with his ear. Seriously, what do you think I want? No, then die. Once you're dead, I'll take over the royal family and the kingdom. The king hesitated. My family. He shouted, as if a nerve had been struck. I knew it, you scoundrel. You want my daughter. Deus scratched his head, as if hearing something cliché. Daughter? I didn't even know you had one. The king was surprised. Not my daughter. April is the pride of Horsens and the flower of our royal family, but you don't care, let's be honest. No, I don't need her. I need to be royalty. The king talked a bit unhygienically and kept screaming and spitting out how you kept wanting something that wasn't yours. Deus's eyes are like he's about to make a salad out of him. What's going on? Is it all yours? The king still asserts his claim without fear of death. Of course, the kingdom belongs to the royal family. His red eyes asked him who said that, followed by a questioning scene. When this world was just created, was it yours? You also took something that wasn't yours, but the royal family also enjoyed it. That throne has been there for decades now. Let's dig it out so we can see where the king still only knows how to scream. He asks him, do you think the Maximus Populi Sanctuary will acknowledge you? He smiled like the father of a baby. Holy Land Maximus Populi. Who cares, you idiot? After this sentence, the palace was surrounded by red flames. The explosion brings down the cross, shatters the magnificent castle, and turns everything around into ash, leaving you nothing but a corpse. Seeing something, Deus stops. I feel like you don't have any blood, soldiers. If you were still there, you could have lasted a few more seconds and it would have been boring. He took a step forward and looked up at the sky with a challenging tone. Hey, my gods are so bored, they haven't prepared anything yet. Not a single word responded to him in front of the scene. The light shining through the palace window remains unchanged. I'm sure I went around playing around before the pure blood awakened. He put his hand in his pocket and calculated that there were still 20 years left, so why did he usually think that the day he passed away was around that range? A piercing scream rings out, attracting Deus's attention. Curious, he looks back. In the middle of the burning pile of rubble, suddenly appeared a girl with skin as white as snow and wearing a white dress with a pile of extremely delicate lace motifs. Her hair was combed with a hairpin on top. The girl standing there with an elegant blue bow was in complete contrast to the chaotic scene around her. The girl was crying and looking at Deus, asking, Who are you? Tears were falling down, drenching her cheeks. Deus is slightly surprised and perhaps curious. He slowly repeats, Who? The scene of changing sunlight shines down on the remains of a fierce battle. Below, there are dead bodies, some who died before even closing their eyes, demons who lost in the first battle. They were sent down to the demon world along with the demon king's damaged soul. Groups of demons followed each other to escort the chained soul around them, or it could be said to be a temporary container. Even if it was just a damaged soul but surrounded by evil spirits, there are still so many of them that it's scary. The purpose is to protect the soul and put it in a new body. The demons carry the soul forever down to the deepest part of the demon world. They pour into it all kinds of magic and words, cursed him for 100 years, then revived him again. The demon king, a new era of demon kings, continued to rule over thousands of demons. Then the second war broke out. We thought there were no more heroes, so we would rule the land. The new demon king was incredibly confident. But life doesn't give everyone everything. Damn, there's still another damn hero appearing. That hero is tireless and fights. Even if pierced by a rain of arrows, he still refuses to fall. He holds his sword firmly and stared at the new demon king. His eyes burned like a fire, as if he wanted to burn away the enemy's will. That monster was so powerful that our army lost to the demon king's era, which ended in a pile of corpses. Once again, the demons resurrect a new demon king in 100 years using the same method, nurturing the soul with magic and curses. And it's no surprise that the new demon king is resurrected and another hero appears in the light of justice. The demons are still busy. They spent 100 years resurrecting the demon king, and the new demon king has appeared again. And one more hero here is like an endless loop with no end in which neither side will surrender. This has been repeated 665 times, an impressive and persistent number lasting 6,658 years. That's why the story of the heroes saving the world has become commonplace. They even stage plays about how bravely the heroes fought to defeat the demon king, and so, when everyone expects a hero to appear. And the demon soldiers deep down thought that this would be the last new demon king. In the end, they kept using magic and curses to revive the new last demon king. The new body of the new demon king was adopted, nourished in a magic stone placed on a high platform, and the new demon king, of course, was surrounded by a group of demons below who looked up and passionately hailed our new king to come to this world and lead us. They pour all their strength into resurrecting the 666th demon king. The new demon king sleeps soundly with his eyes closed, appearing completely harmless. His name is the 666th demon king Demiurgos. Deus suddenly opened his eyes. His sharp and cold eyes contained the breath of hell. The one who brought despair to all humanity on earth opened his eyes. That day he ran away. That's right, everyone is right. The new demon king ran away and politely left a note saying, "I didn't do much. Don't look for me anymore, you idiots. Goodbye." Sign the 666th demon king's name, and draw a picture with your tongue sticking out. It looks a bit itchy. The new demon king 666 hastily wrote the piece of paper and then walked away and left it behind. The demons could only desperately scream no. Returning to the initial scene, we see the girl looking at Deus amidst the rubble, angrily asking, "What did you do to my father, you evil sorcerer?" Deus puts his hands in his pockets and doesn't answer. He looks at her like she's insane. What's wrong with her? Deus recalls the king from earlier, with snot running down his face, yelling, "Don't touch my daughter." April is the pride of the Horsens continent and the flower of the royal family. Aha, now he knows who she is. Deus looked at the girl and asked, "So she must be Princess April?" His eyes radiate an unusual red light. The king is dead, so now it's time to steal his daughter and ascend to the throne, or if you're too fat to give it to your mouth, you have to get to work. April continues to cry uncontrollably, terrified and disbelieving. She looks at Deus. "What did you say?" He doesn't say anything, just flicks his right hand with a snap. April suddenly stopped and opened her eyes lifelessly. Looking forward, she slowly bowed low and put her hands on the ground. Body knelt down in front of Deus and spoke, "This lowly body belongs to you completely. Please take me with you, master." The image now is in complete contrast to the crying girl just now. She was captured. Deus controlled. Deus jumped up high and leisurely flew to where April was kneeling. He slowly landed and raised his hand to lift her chin. His red eyes looked at April's lifeless face and said happily, "Well, from now on you are my first human." April mechanically replied, "Thank you, master." Deus leaned closer, making their faces close to each other. The image made the viewer blush. The two looked like they were about to kiss, but Deus stopped. He glanced to the side and coldly said to stop peeking and hid. "Leave before I gouge your eye out." A small crack appeared in space. It looked like an eye with a voice coming from it. "As I thought, my lord." "Did you know why?" Deus looked towards it. Princess April still looked at him lifelessly with tears in her eyes. Behind that crack was a man. The crack gradually opened wider. Then the other man also walked out like a music star, forcing him to wear a fedora and a very handsome suit, his long hair blowing in the wind. The man took down his hat and coughed. The whole face appears clearly with purple eyes combined with magical silver hair. "I would like to introduce myself, my loyal servant, Alex." My lord. Deus, still lounging lazily with his hands in his pockets, looked at him. "You've been watching me all this time." The man bowed his head, looking pitiful. "You sadden me, my lord. Wherever you go, I'm always by your side, my lord." Deus smirked and threw him a look of disdain. "You served my father, not me." "Exactly. The former demon king died." The man didn't think so. "He said your body was inherited from your ancestors or now, my lord." Deus waved your hand like a fly. "Why don't you go play somewhere else, because I won't return to the demon world anymore." Surprisingly, the man readily agreed. "As you wish, my lord." This left Deus rather puzzled. He smiled brightly. I will only follow your orders, my lord. Don't worry about me, and please continue what you were doing. Speaking of which, what was I doing? This guy suddenly popped out, making Deus not remember his previous intention. The man had to point me towards the princess, who was still in the same kneeling position from just now, looking like a living statue right now. Aren't you planning on giving that woman your great seed? He proudly declared. I am Alex, and I have never left your side for 80 years. He swirled the wine in his glass. Alex looked up at the sky, tears welling in his eyes. Will you listen to my sacrifices for you, enough to fill a glass of wine, the tears of a withered rose garden from the past? This guy would be a waste if he didn't act. Alex continued his sorrowful tale. Throughout your childhood, I fed you my milk after transforming my own body. Yes, he was describing how he breastfed Deus, causing the latter to exclaim in disgust. Not stopping there, Alex continued to boast. I became a perfect educator through my dedicated teaching, but obviously, Deus, handsome as he is, isn't stupid. I still remember you beating me nearly to death. What kind of teacher ties their student up with rope and whips them? I'm the only demon who saw you off with compassion until you entered the realm of love. Send the beep you've dazzled into the square. Who is that bastard who sent those mobs to tie me up like a mental patient? God then pushed me into it. Alex was like a nanny reminiscing about her young master's growth. It feels like yesterday when you were still a baby, flailing your tiny limbs. I can't believe you've grown up so much and started noticing women. I'm easily moved. You know, these words enraged Deus, who wished he could instantly kill Alex. Deus narrowed his eyes at him. Boring. Let me be clear. I'm not doing those Demon King things anymore. From today, I'm reborn as a normal human being. A normal human. Got it? Alex smiled gently. Okay, my lord, as you wish. Deus couldn't understand what this crazy guy was planning next. Deus narrowed his eyes, his face flushed with dangerous anger, and glared at Alex. Alex decided to play dumb, maintaining his standard friendly smile, feigning incomprehension. At this point, Deus didn't bother pretending anymore. He angrily shouted at the man, raising his hand to summon dark magic. What are you plotting? Why did you let me be? Speak up. Alex was distorted by Deus's power, but he still smiled. Ouch. I'm sorry, my lord, I'll tell you. The two demons resumed their conversation seriously and normally. Alex asked, My lord, is there any special reason you chose to attack this country? Deus countered, Reason? What reason? Like, that arrogant guy invaded your territory, or craved the wealth of the demon realm, or at least you weren't happy. That would be a reason. Alex stared at Deus, expecting a satisfactory answer. Deus propped his chin, pondering, no, I don't really have one. I just thought I should live like a king if I've chosen to be human. Oh, wonderful. Alex clapped his hands, leaving Deus bewildered. Alex clapped and laughed in applause. It befits the title of Demon King. The moment you arrived on Earth, you defeated the largest kingdom, single-handedly taking on the entire human army. Murdered the king and took the princess, a resounding and magnificent feat. Alex's cruel praise, indeed, brutal. A demon would be more fitting for a demon king. Deus was even more puzzled. He stood to the side, reluctantly listening to Alex's praise, something a normal person, or even a high-ranking demon like himself, would never dare imagine. So, this is what a natural-born demon king is like, Deus wondered. Alex continued, because a great lord like you said you would abandon us and not be the demon king. I will take your son to the demon realm and raise him as another demon king. The moment Alex uttered those words, Deus was shocked to his core. Alex added, and on that day, 20 years later. Alex's voice echoed through the space, your son will become the 666 Demiurgos, and I will bring him down to this world. The sinister laughter of a demon screeched, incredibly piercing. Sweating profusely, he silently stared at the image of the new, powerful demon king ruling hell, painted by Alex. He looked down at the princess still kneeling at his feet, exquisitely beautiful, innocent, and pure. Deus continued to be speechless, looking back and forth between Alex and April. Then Deus let out a sigh of relief. Phew, almost messed up there. I almost became a father at 80. I'm still of an age to eat and play. Alex stared speechless at his demon king, unable to utter a word. Suddenly, Deus's eyes changed, becoming sharp and full of killing intent. This surprised Alex, who didn't understand what was about to happen. Deus roared and unleashed a devastating attack towards Alex, forcing him to crouch down to defend himself. This blow from Deus pierced through the top of the castle, flew out, and tore through several mountains, creating a massive explosion. Alex clutched his fedora, looking towards the explosion and silently sweating. The scene was extremely chaotic. The fire illuminated several mountains. Releasing this pent-up anger satisfied Deus immensely. "So, you wanted to deceive me, you bastards." He puffed out his chest, smoke billowing from him like incense. Alex, standing behind, could only bow his head in silence. Alex looked like a snake. He narrowed his eyes, secretly concluding, he's too different. Watching the monkey jumping around and breathing fire, Alex had to admit that his demonic energy wasn't even perfected yet, but he was already this strong. The 666th Demon King will definitely be different from his predecessors. Maybe this time we'll truly win. We finally did it. Alex's face was full of hope as he thought about the future. Suddenly, Deus's voice rang out. "He's right, the king is too flamboyant. Let's do that." Alex happily thought that, but the following sentence immediately made him dumbfounded. "Protect justice, as a hero." Alex sputtered, "What, a hero?" Deus's face flushed with excitement. "A hero's comrade, that's right. I want to play the hero." This idea left Alex utterly bewildered. Deus couldn't help but outline his future plan. "I'll collude with the hero, that way, I'll get attention, but I'll stay one step behind him so it won't be obvious. An ambiguous position that nobody would suspect is the Demon King, the hero's comrade. With that stupid hero in front of me, I'll enjoy a sweet journey behind him, a perfect plan." He couldn't help but laugh, hands on his hips. "You do the hard work, and I enjoy the glory. Easy game." Alex knelt down, hugging Deus's leg, desperately trying to salvage the situation. Without the Demon King, there would be no hero. How can you be his comrade? Please reconsider, my lord. Lord Deus heard that and immediately decided to go find the hero. "Alex," he said as he flew up into the sky, not forgetting Alex's miserable fate. Alex could only helplessly call for his lord's fire. Calling after Deus's figure that was flying away. "What about the princess?" Deus just threw back a sentence. "I don't know. You can do it yourself. The bridge is mixed up and in someone's hands." Alex's voice is still golden, "My lord." Half of a beautiful girl's face appeared. "Thank you for appearing just in time." A pair of orange dragon eyes opened, staring behind the girl. The girl leisurely sat cross-legged, holding a glass languidly. "Excuse me, but I need to borrow your power for a while. He'll probably forgive me. After all, in the end, everything exists only for this vision." A song echoed down the road. "Oh, hero, our trusting hero, where could you possibly be? If you don't want to die, show yourself, on a carriage." Deus was lying down and humming a tune. "I crave a beating, this foolish hero. Push him forward, let him do all the hard work, let him enjoy the glory. Our trusting hero, you shouldn't have fought the Demon King. Oh, the Demon King is gone." A voice rang out, calling to Deus, "My lord," interrupting his humming. Alex asked a question everyone was wondering. "Why are we going by carriage when we can fly? This is so troublesome." Deus, annoyed, muttered, "What?" Yawning, he replied, "Hey, you idiot, do you intend to let the whole world know you're a demon?" Alex was speechless, pointing at the castle behind them, smashed to pieces by Deus. "You were so worried, and you turned the castle into this." "Deus, are you trying to deflect attention? Whatever, it's burning." Alex adopted a serious expression. "By the way, you intend to become a hero's companion. Is that even possible?" Pointing to the sky, he retorted, "People say you don't need blood to become a companion. I just want to live the life of the top 2% of the world, the life of the rich, by going to the front lines and killing monsters." Alex coldly stated the truth. Even if you become a hero's companion, it'll be very difficult to be in the top 2%. The carriage continued across the fields. Deus casually explained, "The former Demon King and one of the 7 strongest demons in the demon world are here, so what's there to worry about? A hero can kill a dragon like killing a chicken if we help him a little." Alex was surprised. "I thought you wanted to become human. You intend to use magic?" Deus, now irritated, snapped, Why wouldn't I use what I have, you idiot? That's why you've lost 665 times. Deus put his arms behind his head. Whatever, you trusting, no, hero. Do they have a ranking system? Alex provided the information. Yes, they have a ranking system. Deus was extremely surprised. A ranking system like A class, B class, Alex answered, something like that. Alex, like an encyclopedia, began to explain the rankings. First is D rank, Dragon Slayers. Deus repeated, D rank. Alex, patiently like an old mother, explained, it means they are those who can kill dragons. Deus's face slumped. He lazily asked, so that's a title you get after killing a dragon? Alex replied, no, currently, dragons are neutral between humans and demons. They only attack villages in old stories. It means they have enough strength to kill one. Next is G rank, Giant Slayers, those who can fight against a giant. Deus questioned, G rank, what's next? L rank, Lich Slayers, Alex continued, those who can kill a lich. Deus impatiently asked, so many, are there more? Still driving, Alex continued, after that, it's like the alphabet. Deus, tired, commented, they just name them as they please, the rest are meaningless then. Alex replied, I don't know, the Hero Management Bureau decides that. Finally, E rank, they're considered defective products. If they were food, they'd be spoiled goods that can't be sold. They'd lie on the ground, rotting like an apple, so rotten it's dripping juice, nobody wants them. Defective products, that's sad, isn't it? Deus said sarcastically. Alex reminded him, you can receive additional help from higher-ranking nobles or gain a position in the country. Those who fail not only receive no funding, but they're also expected to disappear like a rotten apple being swarmed by ants. Deus exclaimed, the human world is quite cruel, isn't it? Alex turned with a dangerous look. However, there's something even more important than hero rank, bloodline. Deus had an unreadable expression upon hearing Alex's statement, the closer to pure blood, the stronger. Alex continued, delving into history, those who first saved the world 6,658 years ago were two saviors, a hero and a saint. The hero wielded a sword, the saint a holy cross. Their children, and their children's children, continued to maintain the bloodline. Alex continued incessantly, like an encyclopedia, holy blood, they measure how much of their remaining blood is left in the families. The purer the blood, the stronger the aura they can use. The person with the purest bloodline will become the hero. Fighting against generals and winning 665 times, bloodlines are like branching roots. Deus's face appeared as an illustration for this sentence. Deus, puzzled, pondered, so, using the purity of a person's blood as a measurement, the person with purer blood will have a higher rank. Alex hesitated slightly. There are some exceptions, but usually, the purer the blood, the stronger. Deus commented, turning green like a mother watching a TV drama. Pure blood and impure blood, what's the relevance? Sounds like blood spoons. I was trapped in an egg for 80 years because of that war. That's why Deus says blood spoons. In Korea, those born into wealthy families are called born with a golden spoon or diamond spoon, while those born into poor families are called born with an earth spoon. Alex coldly added with a disdainful tone, everyone highly values that. They put their lives and pride above all else. Deus, increasingly restless in the carriage like a fish out of water, sighed, whatever. Because with Deus in the end the hero and the demon king will fight each other. People have been fighting for 60,000 years because of that single statement. In the strong wind, Alex's back appeared. It was a promise. Deus remained comfortable, humming in the carriage. The carriage traveled a winding road. I don't understand, can't they live a normal life, like this carriage, slow and comfortable? He looked up, his half-closed eyes suddenly widening. He quickly sat up, pointing at something white in the sky. Alex, what is that? There's something dense flying erratically. Alex's hawk-like eyes briefly glanced at Deus, who was playing with it. Just as it was about to touch Deus's black fingernail, Alex calmly replied, those are butterflies. He was surprised, his eyes wide. Butterflies, just as the butterflies flew towards his hand. The wind blew stronger, tilting the flowers and grass. Blow Deus as if it wanted to fly your candle after the wind. The butterfly flew high. Deus quickly reached up to catch the butterfly. Deus, like a child, turned around sulkily and asked Alex, "What was that?" "The thing that just blew past and messed up my hair," he briefly answered. "Wind," Deus mumbled, repeating the word and looking up at the sky. "Then what's that up there?" "The thing that's been floating above us." He raised his hand and rays of light passed through his fingers. His hand covered half of his face. "I'm still wondering about that round thing that makes my eyes hurt when I look straight at it." Alex also looked up, followed by the sun. Taking a deep breath like he was smoking a pipe, Deus asked, "What is this sweet fragrance? It makes my heart flutter." Driving across the field didn't delay Alex's answer. "That's the fragrance of spring," Deus repeated, "the fragrance of spring." "Tired of smelling?" he asked Alex. "You've lived a long time, haven't you?" Alex, handsome and patient, replied, "Yes, I was born after the First War, the Seven Dukes, we were all born in the demon world." Deus's tone suddenly changed. "So, since the First War, you've come here every 100 years. He crossed his arms, leaning against the carriage, his gaze fixed on the sky. "It's amazing here. This place is called the Earth." Alex, confused, quickly turned his head. Turns out he only commented that the former Demon King probably had never felt such things. Next to the road they passed, making the peaceful lake surface reflect the sky, Deus's monotone voice rang out, "If everything goes according to plan, we will be stuck for more than 2 centuries before we reach it. My land is destined to die at the hands of a hero I have never met." Then he let out a seemingly proud sigh. "Good thing I ran away." The light illuminated Deus's face. Leaning against the carriage, he said, "Being the Demon King is a job that should disappear. Do you agree?" Alex said nothing, only leaving an appraising look. Receiving no answer, Deus simply lay down in the carriage, waving his hand dismissively. "Whatever, I'm going to sleep." Lying on the pile of straw in the carriage, Deus's laziness increased. "Like how we have to wake up every morning to go to work or school. Wake me up when we arrive. I'm just saying this as a precaution, but if you take me back to the demon realm, we'll both die." Another appraising glance from Alex. He drove the cart respectfully and said, "My lord." The wheels stopped turning. Alex turned around. "Your Majesty, we've arrived." Deus sat up from his nap, his head buzzing. "Huh, we're here already." Before them was a breathtakingly beautiful countryside with a sea and green forests. Alex introduced, "This is the place you described, Your Majesty, a small trading town outside the military zone, a peaceful village, a rural village called Zeker." Deus yawned widely. "Zeker isn't bad either." The sounds of horses and footsteps on the roads. Passing through the village, with villagers bartering and chatting, Alex asked, "What about the heroes?" Alex provided information like a machine. "There are only 2 families, sir. One is a near Gamma Class A rank family, and one is a flawed family." He looked around appraisingly. "It seems there's no Delta Class family here." He looked at a house with flags hanging all around. Alex hypothesized, "If there's a Delta Class family in every castle, our demon army wouldn't dare to set foot on the ground." Deus yawned again. "Delta Class that strong? Wow." Alex remained respectful. "Yes, Your Majesty, if we had a boss like that, the Demon King would probably go crazy." Deus scoffed, "A bunch of cowards." While he was yawning, he heard someone say that he didn't know that the challenge station was attacked by a dragon. The 3 villagers were talking to each other. The oldest uncle was surprised. "How could he do that? I heard that they still haven't caught the dragon, so don't go near that place." The Ton Angian next to me also spoke up. "I also heard about that and heard that half of the castle was burned down." The girl standing there was also scared and hesitated. "Didn't dragons become extinct a long time ago? How could someone else say the age of dragons? If I go back then it will be very bad." Deus, upon hearing this, pointed at Alex with a very displeased expression. "I thought dragons were neutral." Alex, not knowing what to say, could only reply, "I thought so too." Alex awkwardly drove on, not knowing how to explain further. "The last time I was on the ground was 80 years ago, so something must have happened in that time." From behind, the old man's voice echoed, "We should quickly inform St. Maximus and request them to send us a D-rank hero." The scene shifts to a large house. Alex introduces, "Your Majesty, this is the best hotel nearby." let's stay here. Deus clearly showed his disdain. This is a hotel. Fine, there's no other choice. And from now on, don't call me your majesty anymore. Alex couldn't believe his ears. Yes, sir, Deus impatiently urged. How long are you going to keep calling me your majesty? Book a room. Alex's voice was weak. Yes, sir. The hotel owner, seeing the guests, cheerfully greeted them. Welcome to the Golden Pavilion. Alex took off his hat, maintaining a friendly demeanor. A penthouse suite for us, please. My young master is very picky. Deus, with his usual manner, was appraising the surroundings. Being a money-loving but professional person, he was extremely displeased inside. What kind of clothes are these? They look like a bunch of country bumpkins. Outwardly, he remained professional, rubbing his hands together. I guess you're from far away and don't know that penthouses are very expensive. His words were cut short when he saw the treasure taken from Akuma Castle, glittering with gold, making him break into a cold sweat. With the sharpness honed over years of experience and his love for money, he shouted, Holy Beach, quickly escort the guests to their room. A waiter rushed over upon hearing the shout, Holy Beach, you idiot. Before he had taken 2 steps, he fell, face planting the ground. Oh, sorry. Alex was speechless at this situation. The owner shouted angrily, Shut up and escort the distinguished guests immediately. The embarrassed young man put on his hat, bowing his head to Alex and Deus. Hello. His face was bruised, blood still flowing from his nose, but he smiled brightly. My name is Zekebik. Please call me Zeke. I will carry your luggage, so please go ahead. Carrying the luggage with his right hand, he went up the stairs with Alex and Deus. The young man remained friendly. It's quite noisy now because of the news about the trial castle. It's unbelievable that a dragon from legend has appeared. Sweat poured down his body, but he still comforted the guests. However, there's no need to worry. There's a very famous near Gamma Class A rank family in the village. Alex smiled like a kind mother. That's good. Arriving at the room, Zeke opened the door for the guests. Inside, the room was spacious and clean, with more complete furnishings than a small rented room. Zeke cheerfully invited them in. This is the highlight of our Golden Pavilion, our penthouse suite. The weight of the luggage didn't affect Zeke's composure. Honestly, this is my first time serving such distinguished guests. I don't know if it suits your tastes, but I will do my best to serve you. Just call me if you need anything, Deus said indifferently. Whatever. Zeke, though tired, still cheerfully replied, Yes, sir. Deus's eyes seemed to see through everything. You have the blood, don't you? The question surprised those present, specifically Alex and Zeke. Surprised, but still polite, Zeke replied, Yes. Yes. Deus appraised him, so that's why you seem different. Deus's smile was extremely dangerous, like he was about to think of some mischievous plan. It turned out he was judging Zeke. For someone with the blood, your physical strength is rather weak, and since you work here, you must be from the declining hero family and Zeker, right? Your family has nothing but impure descendants. The blunt assessment hit Zeke hard. He stood still in the middle of the room, clutching the luggage, only able to utter, Ah. Deus asked, What is the purity of your blood? The question made Zeke hesitate. He scratched his head, his face flushed red as if about to confess, Unfortunately, I'm an F rank, a defective product. As soon as he finished speaking, flames erupted from above, causing Zeke to jump away. The 3 of them, without prior arrangement, looked up. Before them was a giant dragon, and the roof of the house was on fire. The dragon roared without fear of hurting its throat. Zeke was stunned by the dragon. People below were running in panic. It's a dragon is invading. Someone even cried out, Mother. Clearly trembling, Zeke still acted like a hero. Your Majesty, run. He pointed towards the left door. With Zeke's panicked expression, Deus pointed at the dragon. What the hell? You said dragons were peaceful, Alex. Alex, unable to contain his anger, snapped back. I said I wasn't sure. Zeke was stunned. Sir. His expression changed from stunned to confused when he heard, It's all right, Zeke. Deus comforted him, with his red demonic eyes appearing. I'll become your helper, so become a hero. Deus was like tempting a child with candy. Anyway, I'm looking for a hero. It must be fate. Accept my offer. I will give you wealth, fame, and everything you desire. I will erase your title of defective. Everyone who heard this was shocked, and Zeke was no exception. Deus continued his tempting words, live the rest of your life in poverty, or accept my offer and change your destiny. The man pointed towards the princess who was still kneeling with her head tilted back, looking like a living statue. Aren't you going to give that woman your great seed, your majesty? At this time, Zeke was thinking back to the days of the past. What kind of blood soldier would a forced soldier be? Why would they even have children? In the end, they were just losers. They were lucky if they didn't starve to death. Then an older child held the hand of another crying brother. Where are you, mom and dad? Brother are so hungry appeared in his mind. Zeke think he has a chance. He knelt down before the two demons. He opened his mouth, fearing they might change their minds. Please, my lords, I am but a nobody, but I will give it my all. I assure you, I will not disappoint you, he said, tears and snot streaming down his face. I will dedicate my soul to you. At this moment, Deus's demonic nature was fully revealed. He, I was just about to ask you this. He directly introduced it to Zeke. So, today's the day you go to war. Go hunt that dragon. Zeke couldn't believe his ears. Shouldn't we start with goblins first? Zeke, proving the saying a wise man adapts to the times, promptly knelt before the two demons. Zeke, now incredibly bold, pleaded, please, support me. I may be a low-ranking soldier, but I will try my best. I guarantee you won't regret giving me this chance. He is so committed that he has tears and snot. If you want, I will give my soul. Deus had already decided. He extended his hand, and purple lights surrounded it. Then, let's make a pact. This left Zeke completely stunned. A contract appeared before Zeke's eyes. Its contents were as follows. Party A, Deus. Party B, Zeke Van Holivik. Clause 1. Party B will acknowledge Party A as a heroic associate. Clause 2. Party B will unconditionally obey all orders from Party A. Clause 3. The relationship may last indefinitely, at the sole discretion of Party A, who alone has the right to terminate the contract. Clause 4. Fame and fortune acquired during the journey will be shared with Party B according to any amount Party A desires, whenever Party A desires. Clause 5. Party B will have no objections to the above conditions. Reading this, one couldn't help but feel this was an incredibly unfair contract. Deus's blood-red eyes looked down at him. Deus's blood-red eyes stared down, his voice a seductive whisper. Sign here. If you accept, the contract is complete. He gritted his teeth, letting out a determined awe. His eyes automatically focused on the words fame and fortune. With tears and snot streaming down his face, he shouted his name. Zeke Van Holivik. His name was imprinted on the contract. Seeing this, Deus couldn't hide his smile. He cheerfully pointed upwards. Then, it's time for your debut. Go kill that dragon. He casually assigned this incredibly difficult task, leaving Zeke completely dumbfounded. What? Alex couldn't take it anymore and spoke up, reminding his master, humans usually can't defeat a dragon, sir.